Daytime with Aston Avey. Stephen Smith's with me. Joining us right now, as I mentioned right at the beginning, it's a singer, actress, presenter. One of my mum's all-time favourites is the wonderful Rosemary, who has sold over 14 million records worldwide. Hello, Rosemary.
Hello there, Aston. Lovely to see you again.
Great to have you
by
on.
the way, it's 17 million albums I've sold, but some of them are in my garage.
you know, Rose, it's Aston's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Aston.
Cheers, Rosemary. But obviously,
lovely.
first off, how are you, of course? And you've mentioned you're fine there, but what can we expect from a new album from you? Is there a new album? When can we expect that?
Yes, well, I'm going down to London and I'm going to be in talks with Callie Minogue's producer, and I'm going to re-record some of my hits in disco style because it's the whole rage now. It's all come back to this sort of up-tempo disco style. And with more older songs, I put them in disco style. Ones that I haven't recorded as well. So it'll be a mixture. So I'm looking forward to that.
I've always wanted you to do a Donna Summers number because, I mean, she's huge again out of the blue. I mean, she went through a stage where no one wanted to know about her when they found out about some of her beliefs. But there is a documentary on her, and the songs are back from that period. You'd be great at doing that.
Well,
I've had
suggested to me, and then I did a bit of research, and I thought to myself, yes, it's coming back.
Yeah, it really is. That Studio 54 and the disco scene is starting to make a move back again, which is quite exciting.
Yes.
I'm too young to remember them, but I'm sure other people do. Listen, I've been lucky enough to see you perform many a time, and you're an incredible old school performer. You give an audience what they want. And I'm so excited you've moved back to the land of entertainment, Blackpool. What's actually spotted the move to Blackpool?
Well, this Blackpool is where my career actually started, Stephen. And this is my fourth time moving back. I can't keep away. And of course, I did a summer season at the famous Viva. I did 2 years there. And I thought, oh, God, I've really missed it. So, you know, as you know, I lived in London for quite some time, and then I lived in Vegas and lived. I have to keep moving for security reasons.
Yeah.
Social security.
and
I lived in LA and I studied acting there. So, but there's nothing like Blackpool for me, and I just adore it. So I only moved back about 5 weeks ago. So I'm still emptying boxes.
Oh my God! You touched on there just briefly about taking acting lessons in Los Angeles, and you were fantastic in Doctors. I have to say, I'm going to see a bit more of you on the television because I'd love to see you in more things like that because you're a very good actress. I don't think people realise that.
Well, that's something I would love to do, and of course, my favourite role was playing Mrs. Johnson in Blood Brothers.
Yeah,
that was one of the most hardest things I've ever done because you have to sing, dance, you cry, laugh, and the whole lot. And then, of course, I played Eva Cassidy's best friend, and I played her mother, so I had to age down. Age up down.
So with that being said here, Rosemary, as well, obviously everyone has to have a favourite place where they actually perform there. So where's your favourite place to actually perform?
Well, I have a couple. I mean, obviously, the obvious one would be the London Palladium, which I've done three times with my own show, and then once in front of Princess Diana. And but I have to say, I recently did a tribute concert for my dear friend, the late Joe Longthorne. And the reception I got, this was in Glasgow, and Glasgow Pavilion, and I played it several times with my own show. There was a lot of names on it. But when I went on, I got such a brilliant reception, and with the shouts and the roars and everything, and so much so that I couldn't hear my overture. So I missed a couple of bars, and I thought to myself, oh, to hell with it, I'll just keep bowing and smiling and waving. The Glaswegian people are lovely. So that really, I can't wait to get back there on my next tour.
You touched on, you mentioned performing in front of Princess Diana, and you have actually performed in front of a lot of royalty and a lot of queens, and you've also performed with Paul O'Grady, who sadly lost. What was it like performing with him?
Well, he was one of my closest pals, And performing with him was fantastic. And we rehearsed. There again, this show was at the London Palladium. It was a big charity event. And we rehearsed a duet called The Grass Is Always Greener. And this was at my home in Maida Vale at the time I lived there. And we just could not stop laughing. So when we learnt the song, and then on the night, and it was packed to the rafters, and Victoria Wood, she was topping the bill. But anyway, so we did the duet together, and we forgot the words, both of us. I won't say what he said, and we did a little dance routine, but it was always a joy, and you just never stopped laughing. I cried my eyes out when I turned on the news about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was shocked about his passing. It was a big, big shock, so...
yeah, he's been dearly missed.
Was a big shock, I think.
He did so much with the drag scene for charity as well, and for animal rights, which we just had Wendy Turner on. Yeah, he did so much for animal rights. Yes. But listen, Rose, I've got to ask you. Obviously, you shot for fame and with the New Faces show, which was the sort of equivalent of the X Factor back in the day.
Well, it was Search for a Star.
Sorry, beg your pardon.
Yes,
Search for a Star.
But I was on New Faces, but Search for a Star was what got me onto the comedy scene, because I made everybody laugh doing my interview. I knew I wasn't going to win, but I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll get a comedy or something out of it. I made everybody laugh, and so basically, that's how I got Punchlines and Blankety Blank and all those wonderful, wonderful quiz shows. So
yeah.
And I didn't get a record deal, not for years later.
Yeah,
at least I was on TV.
Rose, do you tune into The X Factor or The Voice? What do you think of these new reality shows? Do you think they're a good platform for acts? Or
yes, I mean, Search for a Star was the big one that I did, and I mean they made the frocks for you, and you were treated like fantastic, and a lot of rehearsals went into it. The production was fantastic. And, so I do still think it's a good vehicle, for up and coming stars. I really do, that want to get a break. I mean, some of the artists have been doing the pubs and clubs for years, and that's how I started out. And it was just Search for a Star was a good platform for me.
Yeah, but you had a little base because you had some experience. Some of the acts have no experience going into the new shows, haven't they? They haven't had treaded the working men's clubs or done the small theatres. They'll go for that sometimes into big theatres, don't they?
Yes,
that's exactly.
Yes, indeed. And well, that's what I did. I didn't do pubs, but I did the working men's clubs up and down the country, and it stands you in good stead, And, so I think it's important that you get a wee bit of experience before you do these shows. And you can tell the ones that are extra good because of that. And there's karaoke. In my day, there was no karaoke. At least you can practice on a karaoke machine.
I know, it's a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
Aston's a bit of a singer himself. He's very good at karaoke, aren't you?
I don't like to show off. Simple as that.
Well, I'm boasting for you on your birthday. You're a very good singer.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'll have to sort of...
you could do a duet next time you're down.
So
we do a duet together.
Who knows?
Aston.
Who knows? Depending what the songs are, anyway. And that being said, Rosemary, obviously you've worked with some of the huge names. Stephen's mentioned the late Paul O'Grady being one of those. There is there anyone you'd like to work with again in regards to names you've actually worked with?
Well, it's a difficult one because a lot of them are all in the big sky in heaven. But the most exciting person to work with all over Europe was Johnny Cash. And such a lovely, quiet man. And he was absolutely fantastic. And of course, I worked with the late, see, they're all lates, Terry Wogan. And I did his show all hours, pardon me, all hours in the morning. And I mean, it was after me doing a gig the night before. And I went into the studio, and there he had a bottle of Bailey's Irish Cream and a packet of digestive biscuits on his desk. So at the end, I couldn't believe it. And I says, well, especially the digestive biscuits and the cream is no good on your voice, on your vocal cords. So I declined on both. So it was, we sang When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. And he was very reluctant to sing along. He didn't want to spoil it for me, you know, and I had a guitarist with me. And it was all live, of course. And I said, come on, Sir Terry, come on now, sing along with me. And everybody at home, and he did. And that was a great experience. What a lovely, lovely man.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah.
I have to say, I loved him in the Eurovision Song Contest.
You took the words out of my mouth. Because,
obviously, I mean, as good as it is, but I miss him there. It was a part of it. You used to fall about laughing at the one-liners. They were very funny. But listen, you know, Madonna and Sam Smith have just released Vulgar, their big duet. It's gone straight into the charts, but the first hit for Madonna in a while. Who would you like to duet with among the new acts or the acts around? Apart from Aston.
I don't know much about the new acts, but certainly I would love to duet with Susan Boyle. I think she's got a phenomenal voice.
I agree with you.
Isn't she?
She's amazing, especially when you heard her on the Britain's Got Talent final as well, as part of the Les Mis act as well. She
was the best ever winner in my eyes. And, you know, she's just had a stroke, so I'm hoping that, I think she's getting back on the circuit now. And but her voice is just phenomenal, and it would be a bit like the Barbara Dixon and Elaine Page song, you know. I know them so well. There's no females duetting these days, so it's nice to when two good voices are put together, you know.
Yeah, not two women duetting together. I mean,
that's what I mean.
Miley Cyrus has done a couple of things with Dolly Parton.
Yes, that's her auntie. Or her godmother, one or the other.
So she's done a few things, but yeah, I quite like a duet. It was a nice idea.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously, how do you keep looking so young, Rosemary? I have to throw this one out there here.
I'm going to get you a playtime, Aston. Well, the beauty about living in Blackpool, I love power walking, and you know, and I'm living opposite the Irish Sea. And I love walking down the promenade and take the breeze in. You know, it's very good for your lungs, you know, and I love taking the breeze in and power walking sort of along the seafront. And I think that and a good sunscreen and look after your skin, take the makeup off before you go to bed, good moisturizer, all those things.
Yeah, you're so right.
I try to keep the age thing at bay.
I think everyone does, but it's being sensible about it. I mean, the lovely thing is now you've got actually Madonna that's now 65, I think she is, and she looks incredible. And I don't care what people say about her. And then you've got Joan Collins, who's 90, still looks incredible. So nice in this generation that you can be an age you want to be. Listen, you know, Blackpool's full of talent. Can you tell me the first time ever you played in Blackpool?
I tell you where it was. It was the North Pier, and I topped the bill. And no, sorry, telling a lie. It was Stan Boardman's show, and I was second top, and Bobby Crush was on it as well. There was about a lot of really good acts on, but that's the time that there was long summer seasons, and they're not as long now, and packed to the rafters, you know, and people would blow down the pier. You know, and, you know, it doesn't matter what weather, people would go down to the North Pier. I also done a summer season at Maggie Mays, which it's in South Pier, and with my own show. And I had backing singers and dancers and the whole lot. But yeah, the North Pier was my favourite.
Is it hard work as doing the West End? Do you have 2 shows a day, or how many shows do you have when you do Blackpool North, the piers?
No, there's no 2 shows at the moment. I don't think so. Not, and we didn't do 2 shows in those days. You just did a good long version of the show that you were in, and Stan Boardman was fantastic to work with, and of course Bobby Crush being my old mate as well, and so but it was very professional, you know. And I wish all the summer seasons would come back like the old days. but everything else is coming back, you know. It seems to be just one-nighters. And I think when people come up to Blackpool on holiday and everything, I think they do like to hear about a show that's been going on for a few weeks or months, you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
And get feedback on it.
And do you ever get stage fright yourself there, Rosemary, even before you go on stage?
All the time. All the time. You can't even talk to me before I go on stage because I'm sort of like prancing up and down and saying my prayers, asking God to get me through the show. And so, yes, that's never gone away for me. I know that Frank Sinatra used to have a brandy or a scotch or something before he went on.
yeah.
But I don't believe in that personally. You know, I never, ever would take anything like that before I go on. But he did. And so did Dean Martin and people like that. But if you're a man, I think you can get away with that. But yes, say your prayers and keep prancing about, you know. And so, yeah, I do get very, very big stage fright.
A lot of acts say that. Sometimes you would never, if they saw you on stage, you would never guess for 1 minute you had stage fright because you own that stage.
Oh,
but,
that's nice, Stephen.
But I know a lot of people that go, my God, I feel sick before I go on. I'm going to throw up, and then they go out there. They're incredible.
Yes, and you know, if you have any pains or aches, they seem to go away with me anyway as soon as I get on the stage. And the thing that calms me down, once I get the opening song over, and then I start joking along with the audience and having the crack with them. And that puts me at ease when you get a few laughs and then you just go into the act and you do the songs that they want to hear, all the hits. And but especially that's what it was like at the Glasgow Pavilion. And audiences there were fantastic. But I think generally people like it if you have a laugh and joke with them as well, you know, instead of in between songs.
And which is the most requested song from your audience? What's the song they ask for most?
Well, the one you've just played at the top of the show is very, very popular. But the other one is The Answer to Everything. It's a massive torch song, and it's been a hit for loads of people, including myself. So that's
listen, Rose, we absolutely love you, and I'll be up to see you in Blackpool very soon.
I can't wait, Stephen.
Yeah, and we'll have a wee night. We'll have a night out.
We'll hit the town.
We'll hit the town.
And Rosemary, it's a pleasure to have you on Gateway as always.
Oh, thank you, Aston, and a very happy birthday to you.
Cheers for that.
Give my love to your mummy.
Will do. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, love.
Thank you.
You're welcome.